So one of the components of the hammock is the continuous loop, and these are called gathered end hammocks because they start out as a rectangle, but once we put the continuous loop in place properly, it gathers in this whole thing on each end, and that's called a gathered end hammock. The way this works is when we build them, we have a 2-inch channel through here, and we run this continuous loop through it. This is called a continuous loop because if you see, it has no start and beginning. It's just one big continuous loop. I could take a string and tie a knot in it and make a loop, but it's not as strong because anytime you tie a knot in any cordage or rope, it reduces the strength of that rope. Doing it this way, where you're braiding it back inside of itself, you're retaining almost all of the strength of the cord. And this is Amstel blue. It doesn't matter, it comes in different colors, but it's called Amstel blue. And it's used in sailing a lot. It's got a lot of UV protection, protection from moisture and stuff, you know, stuff you would experience on a sailboat. And it floats too. But this is 1/8 inch. It is rated for 2,500 pounds. We have a smaller one that we use. It's 7/64, and that's rated for 1,600 pounds. The way this works is you do what's called a lark's head, and a lark's head is a really simple knot. You just take one end and run it through the other end and pull it tight, and it makes what's called a lark's head. And that's what we do inside the channel. We'll run this cord all the way through the entire channel, and when it comes out on the other end, we just do a lark's head and then tighten it down, and it tightens this whole thing down. So what you'll see on most hammocks is just this loop hanging out. And then there's a lot of different types of suspension that can hook to that loop, and we'll go over the different suspension types in a different video. This particular one has the cinch buckle suspension, and this is still a continuous loop. It's still made the same way, but in the process it's wrapped around the buckle several times. If you just wrapped it around once, the buckle will twist side to side and cause the strap to loosen up, just like this bar. If this bar went sideways, it can loosen the strap, so that's why it's wrapped. It keeps it from sliding one way or the other. But this is a continuous loop. It's what it looks like before the hammock's made, and then once the hammock's done, you'll normally see a loop like that, unless it's a cinch buckle suspension. The next component of the hammock is the ridge line. And with these hammocks, what we try to do is set the ridge line at 83% of the length of the hammock. So an 11-foot hammock, 83% of that is 109.56 inches, so we round it up to 110. And this is a fixed ridge line. It's not adjustable, and it goes over the continuous loop, and I'll go over that in a separate video. But you have options with this fixed ridge line. You have options to do a fixed ridge line or an adjustable ridge line. It's a different type, and I'll go over them in a separate video too. And the main purpose for this fixed ridge line is the way that you lay in these hammocks. You lay diagonally across them, and it takes the full width of the fabric to be able to do that. So with this ridge line, when you pull the straps tight, it still allows this sag in this hammock, and that allows you to use pretty much the full width of it. If you did not have this ridge line and you tightened up the straps, you're going to bring the hammock with you, and now you just have a really tight, narrow place to lay, and you're going to be laying straight, and your shoulders are going to be squashed in, the fabric's going to be all wrapped around you, and you're going to be laying like a banana again. It's not going to be any good at all. So the ridge line creates that sag, and kind of looks like a smiley face, you know, happy hammock, happy camper. So you want it set up like this, so you can have that diagonal lay across it and be able to lay flat, not like a banana, and be a lot more comfortable. And that's it. That's the main components of the hammock. You have the continuous loop and the ridge line, hammock body, and then that's it. The suspension and the straps and all that stuff, they're separate, and I'll cover them in a different video.